So before I tell you the least amount of things you have to know to get absolutely ripped and fit and feel good about yourself, I'm going to tell you another story, all right? And you'll see how it ties in a minute when I explain the program. Okay, so my parents got divorced when I was about 10, all right? And I couldn't have been happier because it was the end of the war zone, all right? The house that we lived in, it was just ridiculous. Like, I stopped talking because there was no point, because they weren't listening to me anyway. And just the madness was like, they were trying to push the button as well and trying not to push the button. And it was just ridiculous, all right? So when my mum kicked my dad out, I just was like, thank God, because this is ridiculous, all right? So most people would say they wanted their family to stay together and they wanted their parents to love each other. I was just like, just stop pretending this is working. You're not fooling anyone, all right? There was always like hostility and chaos when they lived together, so separating was like the best thing, all right? Anyway, I'm also grateful for that because now if someone's screaming in my face, like it's just nothing. Like the amount of fights that I've talked myself out of, which normally like fear, you would have like felt the urge to like stand up for yourself, and I'm just like, someone's screaming in my face, this is fine, this is normal. I'm also grateful for the violence as well because like I couldn't be an MMA fighter if I was afraid of being hurt, you know. It's just normal. That's fine, you know. It's like, yeah, this is fine, cool, yep. Not like, don't touch me. It's like, yeah, okay, just we'll see what happens, you know. Anyway, so when I was about 11, someone attacked someone that was very close to me, and you know, being a small kid, I didn't really know what to do. I just stood there and didn't know what to do. I froze, right? And there's a thing in the fight or flight response. There's a thing that's often overlooked. That is, it's actually freeze, fight or flight. All right. So in the Chinese system we look at, in water we have paralyzed will. All right. So your willpower gets frozen when you don't know what to do. So what actually happens is you go paralyzed will, and then you make a decision to fight or flight. Right. So in that moment where I was frozen, I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? And so I just watched this person getting assaulted and then was horrified, okay? But after that, it was legit like, from that day forward, I swore I would never stand idly by. But legit, that was why I started teaching martial arts. That's why I used to get in fights all the time. And actually, one of my brother's friends said, he goes, oh, you're always like saving people. So I originally had a reputation for being a bit of a hero and having a hero complex. And then it got to a point where like having been bullied for being fat and stuff, like I sort of took the opportunity to become a bully. So I'd be out where people were drinking and stuff, and I'd sort of provoke people on purpose because I had this identity of being a warrior and being a fighter, and I got off on the attention that it got me and stuff, you know, which I'm not grateful for that. I regret that entirely. But also I know what it means to be the aggressor now, and so now I can diffuse someone when I'm like, you're just getting off on the power trip. That's what this is about. And people who crave power generally feel powerless, and if you can remind them of that, diffuses the situation. Having the identity of a fighter, I would train, and it was all to like prove my head is wrong, prove that I was a tough dude to people that hadn't seen me behaving tough, and prove that I was a person worthy of love and attention, all right? And as I delved into this further and further, I realized that, again, what's the emotional driver for your behavior, all right? So the identity and the self-concept came from the emotional drivers, right? So fear, anger, to hide fear, not wanting to show vulnerability. Everyone knows what this is like, all right? When I teach little kids about controlling their anger, and I stand in front of them and I go, have you ever had this experience? Your brother comes up to you and annoys you, and you're like, go away. And they're like, shut up. And you're like, no, you shut up. And they're like, no, you shut up. I'll kill you. And like, even the smallest kids just cack themselves because everyone knows what that's like. Everyone knows escalation, not wanting to show weakness, not want to back down, boom, everyone's crying, okay? Everyone knows what that's like. And it is very, very difficult to recognize the suffering in that person and then try to appease that suffering. But this is really the highest level of self-defense. Is someone screaming in your face and you're like, this is fine, or they're threatening to hurt you and you're like, all right, let's see what happens, you know, and you're just super relaxed and you can just go, oh, You're hurting, you're afraid, you're trying to stop what's happening because you're afraid. Anger is trying to stop things, okay? So if they're trying to stop, what is it? Anxiety, right? Fear, doubt. It's okay, dude, like, you're among friends here, everything's fine. So as I dealt with the emotions that I had around wanting to be a fighter and wanting to prove that I was tough and that, it just completely dissipated the need to prove it, okay? Which made it a lot more fun, and it made it a lot more about teaching and about love and about sharing and like being a part of communities and stuff, instead of like trying to prove that I was tough, right? And so what I found from that was there is emotions that we can cultivate that make you feel confident and strong and proud of yourself, that stop other people from wanting to bully you, okay? Like in my story about the girl doing the tiger and then breaking up with her boyfriend and then he just started treating her better. It's like by cultivating that confidence, it makes you less of a target, all right? And this is what works in children, okay? Some of those karate and taekwondo and stuff, fighting with the handstand, you can ridicule that all you like, but when someone knows how to generate power, other people don't pick on them as much. There's just something that changes in your body language because of your confidence, all right? So confidence is king. All right? Let me show you the program. This is part of it, all right? Number 1, emotional needs. Least amount of stuff you have to know, okay? Diet, exercise. What is the least amount of stuff for you? For your body type, your personality type, and your genetics. Trial and error program, all right? But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you through that. I've done it that many times. High intensity interval training. Totally works. Plyometrics, all right? But we have to do endurance, okay? So you can't just go straight into plyo. You go endurance, strength, explosive. Weight circuits. And I say this all the time, but I was doing CrossFit before CrossFit was cool, all right? You do some weights, you do some intervals, you do some plyo, you do some weights, all right? So you mix it up. Now, the other thing that totally works, kickboxing and MMA, okay? And the majority of like my income is from holding pads in front of people, all right? A little bit more clearing and stuff in this year and getting a bit more success and goal oriented has been totally rad. But this is what works for exercise, all right? This stuff. The problem is I can throw all of this at you and you won't do the steps, all right? You won't do the diet until we do this. That's why it's a system, right? You have to do this to get this to work, all right? I can't knock the pizza out of your mouth. You have to be like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, not I'm a fat person and all this exercise is ridiculous because it's cool. I'm still fat, now I feel comfortable. And I've done this that many times and sussed out what is the things that worked and didn't work every fucking time, all right? What doesn't work is self-concept, identity, feelings of failure, all right? They will always overwhelm the willpower. And even me pushing and trying to get you to do it, it will always overwhelm the goal, okay? What we need to do is get this stuff out of the way and implant stuff like confidence and the hormonal release that comes with kickboxing and striking and feeling powerful and feeling proud and feeling a sense of like high self-esteem and that becoming your self-concept. That's what will keep you on track. Then this stuff starts to work, okay? Yin stuff, right? We can push with all this yang stuff, but unless we do some yin stuff, you will burn out, you will take several days up, you will come up with excuses not to show up. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to self-care, all right? We live in a time of adrenal fatigue and burnout, and this is like my 9th cup of coffee today, so terrible example. If you do the active rest and like bring yourself down, you can overtrain, right? You can overtrain in peace, all right? I've gone from twice a day jiu-jitsu, 3 times a day injuring myself, one of the times I did that, to now I'm training like 2-3 times a week, and I feel like I'm learning more stuff. I feel like I'm learning faster. Anyway, you have to take care of this restorative stuff, all right? Because you can't just yang without any yin. This is the third part of the body language program is how do we balance out the yin and the yang, all right? And obviously you want to do a little bit more yang and you want to like push through and get some stuff done. As long as that emotional stuff's out of the way, you want to do a lot of exercise, but the diet is like almost more important. Like you need to have cooling foods and like foods that work for your body type and stuff, because like not everyone's the same. Like we have all the same emotions and we have all the same issues and we have the same problems and stuff. I mean, a lot of people don't eat wheat and gluten intolerances and stuff like that, but other people will just carbs, no problem. And like you see like people with Asian genetics, they can eat a lot of carbs and it just doesn't stick to them, like we've got different stuff going on, right? So it becomes this kind of trial and error thing, right? But I'm here to walk you through that. This is what works, all right? So what we want is for you to learn the language of your body. That is why it is called body language. System that I like for alleviating this stuff, as you have seen, is the Chinese system. Kinesiology and acupressure, massaging the points, all right? So the same pressure points that we attack in martial arts, which is sort of how I came here as well, is like, oh, hang on, this is the same stuff, the meridian system, this is cool. It was all the same. Is the same identifying what the emotional drivers are and then appeasing them by rubbing the acupressure points while the emotion is fresh in your mind. So for example, we talk about anxiety. We'll do a timeline of your anxiety. And then as it comes up and you're talking about it, and it'll start to create an anxious response in the body, and then we massage like the corresponding acupressure points. So across cultures, anxiety shows up the same. It shows up as like tight-chested, shortness of breath, and like a feeling of like being unable to cope, right? Of like the walls closing in. And so this like tight chest thing is like a physiological response, right? So as we trigger anxiety and massage those points, it's like, oh no, this is fine. Like it's all in my head. My body's just responding logically and it's fine. And so what happens is you recondition the response. So it doesn't become a physical response that starts to just unravel, and then you get more anxious and you think about all the other times you've been anxious. It's like, oh, I'm anxious. No, it's fine. Of course I'm anxious. Like maybe I should just leave a bit earlier and then I'll be able to find a car park. It's like you're just able to logically rectify it instead of the emotion like overwhelming you and you feel like you need like 3 glasses of wine to cope with it. I'm not going to let it debilitate me and like cause all this conflict, and I'm trying not to feel anxious. It's like, no, your anxiety's trying to speak to you. It's trying to tell you that you need to take action to make sure that you're okay. So what we're doing is we're not like erasing emotions. We're not uninstalling them is the joke. We're just teaching you to respect them, basically. It's very similar to the dialectic behavioral therapy where we just color in what the emotions are. So it's like borderline personality disorder is kind of like, I don't really know what I'm feeling. It's just like I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know who I am, right? Borderline personality. But we sort of color it in by rubbing the points, getting the reasons that feeling comes up, and then it's like, okay, this is cool, this is me, I understand it. Now I'm just gonna do that and then I'll feel like this, yeah? So, learning the language of your body, emotionally, diet, and exercise. What am I capable of? What's the least amount of stuff that I have to know, all right? I don't want you to have to go through what I went through, which is a lot of research, a lot of banging my head against the wall, a lot of people calling me names, and like, I'm okay with that now, but I wasn't for a long time. I was very triggered by people not wanting me and not accepting me and not thinking I was a valuable human being, right? And it was like, I had to be a champion fighter to rectify that. And it's like, people actually don't care. They don't care how tough you are, right? They don't care how rich you are. Everyone's just trying to do their own, like, pay their bills, rectify, like, how they feel about their own self-concept, right? We're all just, like, projecting on each other to feel better about ourselves. How to burn fat and feel good. Here's the stuff. Here's the stuff to bring you down from like over yanging it, and we need to get restorative in order to balance out the output. Otherwise we burn out and we don't want to do it anymore, okay? Part of the problem with abstaining from your diet, from things that you like eating, is it's not sustainable. So if you really like chocolate and wine and then you try not to have chocolate and wine, you're gonna crack. You're just gonna go, no, I hate this. I hate this diet. It's horrible. I don't want to be skinny. I'm a fat person. Drinking wine and chocolate makes me feel good. Yay, yay, yay. Feel better. Wait, guilt, guilt, guilt. Emotional driver for behavior. Is it that drinking triggers guilt because you need to listen to the guilt? You need to express stuff that you feel guilty about that's been there for a long time, that's been pending. This is the thing. So by clearing the trauma, we might alleviate the need to drink wine, to eat chocolate, because you don't need to feel guilty to get that stuff out, right? It's like once we get the demon out, then the behavior goes. Rule number 1. So the offer I would like to make you is this. For $120 per week, $120 per week, $500 a month, you get 4 sessions a week, all right? This will be this stuff, high intensity, plyo, kickboxing. So you might do 3 sessions of yang stuff, and then this one will be a yin session, okay? Keep you in the game. Bit of restorative stuff. So bit of yoga, bit of qigong. Hannah and I both do qigong, so we can take care of you. Ilsa and I both do clearing, so we can get your head right and do some of the trauma reduction techniques and massage some of the emotions into congruence, and then you can get back on the horse, all right? And quite often what we do is, like, your cheat day is one of the days on the weekend, because not only does it speed up your metabolism, it just keeps you from going crazy, all right? So a basic one is you go like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you can have some stuff, Thursday, Friday you on your diet, and then weekend you can have some stuff, all right? So it's like, instead of like feeling like you're never allowed to drink or eat chocolate, it's like, no, I'm gonna be allowed to do it tomorrow. So it's like, the abstinence doesn't like cause you to crack, okay? Because you're like withholding, willpower, self-concept, yeah? Boom. I'm a bad person because I enjoy, the guilt makes it taste better. Can't be done, right? It's not sustainable. What's the least amount of stuff you have to know? I got it. I spent the time, I worked it out. I can't smack the pizza out of your mouth, but I can tell you, you can have it on Wednesday. You can have it on Sunday. 120 per week. You get 4 sessions, sometimes 5 if you're cool and it fits in with my stuff. But you get me, Luke, Hannah, Ilsa, Yanni, all right? Hannah, Yanni, and I all do massage as well. So your yin stuff could be a massage. Probably a 30-minute massage. Yanni's actually got a provider number so you can get a healthcare rebate as well, which is totally boss. Boom. But also you can, if you really like Hannah doing some yoga, or you really like Ilsa doing some clearing, you can book in privates with that. It takes a village to raise a child, all right? For this simple weekly rate, you've got a team trying to help you. It's very much about the emotional drivers and bringing those down into congruence so you feel like this is all good, and taking care of yourself, this self-care stuff, right? And some people do overdo it and they just don't do anything that's yang enough, right? And it's like, you don't want to just do just soft stuff. But it's important, all right? We need to do the yin stuff. We need to take care of ourselves. Otherwise you burn out and you don't stick to it. Abstinence forever is your plan. It's not going to work. The other thing is not enough rest. Que problème? Not good. So what works is allowing yourself for cheat day, maybe 2 at first, and then what happens is people just start to go like, I felt guilty when I ate too late or whatever. We do fasting and stuff as well. Like, I just didn't want to, or I ate this and I felt too full and then I felt guilty. Someone said to me today and I was like, that's 8. One of the other things I stress is like, stop eating when you're full, all right? We learn to eat past the point of being full, not listening to the language of our body, because our parents say, eat all your dinner and then you can have dessert. So you just like force it down. You don't really like it. You don't really feel nourishment from it. And you just force it down so you're allowed ice cream. When, I think it is because from that baby boomers generation, food was a little bit more scarce and they had really big families because the church said that they couldn't wear protection. Because contraception was frowned upon, people had big families and there was like not as much food. So you clamoring for food and then your parents were like, don't waste it, eat all of it. No, you can't have sugar. Eat all your carbs and then you can have some sugar. It's part of the problem. And in the 80s, complex carbohydrates were so popular, I think it was just conditioned into the culture, right? Body language program. Takes a village to raise a child. The main things are, you gotta heal your trauma and become congruent with very normal feelings that all of us have. And then your self-concept can become like, I'm a fit person. I'm a successful person. I'm a winner. And not sticking post-its on the mirror and hoping that it sinks in, but like legit taking away the feelings that say the opposite, that voice that says you're not good enough, you're not successful, everyone hates you. It's like, we're gonna pull that stuff out. Like, it's trying to speak to you and we need to listen to it, but we also need to appease it, right? That's how the acupressure massage stuff works, right? And we are very, very well trained to pinpoint exactly what it is. It's quite often something very subtle. Some of the stuff that's come up for me in clearing, I was just like, are you serious? Is that in there? Like, I didn't drive a car till I was 31, all right? Because I was scared of driving. And it was like, of course I'm scared of driving. Mum wouldn't let us talk while she was driving because she was anxious. And it was like, oh, driving's dangerous. It's scary. And my first girlfriend gave me a ring that belonged to someone who died in a car accident. So I used to look at that every day and go, driving's dangerous. Of course I was scared. Every time someone wanted to give me driving lessons or whatever, I was like, yeah, no worries. And tried to willpower my way through the behavior. And it was like, no. I'm a person who's scared of driving. Self-concept, not allowed to drive. Didn't drive till I cleared it. The other one was money. I just got used to being a poor kid in a rich neighborhood, as I specified. And so when people would offer me money, I'd go, oh, nah, usually people just pay me this much, or like, nah, it's cool, I don't want a promotion, I don't want responsibility. And so I was always kind of pushing money away because I was like, I'm a person who just makes do, all right? I have to deal drugs to get enough money to pay for my lunch. That's who I am, right? Who I am. Self-concept. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to be healthy. Self-care and yin practice because you deserve it. Healthy, nourishing food because you deserve it. Okay? Haven't you suffered enough? Have you not been through enough? Seriously. You deserve to be happy, all right? Let us help you, okay? Let us help you. I've spent years trying to figure this stuff out. I've written a book on how, like, your behavior needs to link up with your emotions. And here's an emotions chart that we use every day to help people get their shit together. I've rambled for way too long. Okay, so contact me if you want. I've really only got 2 spots that I can do at the moment. But as I was saying before, we got the village, right? Takes a village to raise a child. Luke's really good with the strength and conditioning stuff, like CrossFit kind of thing. Hannah's the yoga nerd who does the Qigong and stuff as well, and some theta healing and other cool stuff. And yeah, we're gonna get it done, right? We can do it for you. Hit me up, we'll make it happen, all right? I love you, I want you to succeed because it gets lonely when I'm so awesome and everyone else is suffering. I'm just kidding. I wanna help you, I want you to succeed, all right? It's what I do. It's what makes me happy. It's why I get up in the morning. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you, and thank you for the opportunity to help you.